off, they give you an older teacher to like mentor you. And her mentor teacher, when she was like, how do I get these kids to pay attention, to listen to all these things? Her mentor teacher had started when they still used the strap. And the mentor teacher said, honestly, I don't know what to do now that I can't hit them. It was like, straight up, I don't know how to command this class now that beatings aren't allowed.
I mean, that's so taboo now, but that's where, I mean, I guess just from personal experience, I am glad when God has afflicted me, when I had not been listening to, like, because especially, I mean, just with something simple as tobacco, like I love tobacco, but if I smoke it too much, I will get excruciating pain. It's this neurological pain in my face. And if I didn't have that pain, I know that I would weasel my way around anything I could to just keep smoking, which I'm sure would be bad for me.
People were talking about this before, and I actually do think that public smacking would have, like flogging, would be of a great benefit.
Yeah, well, here's another example.
And
I won't.
Sorry. And I think it's more humane. Is there's punishments in the Bible where you would be publicly flogged for, and that we now say that's inhumane. Let's lock you in a cage where you'll probably be raped. That's the humane decision, is to lock you in a cage where you might be raped, right? Like, I'm sorry, what? Just publicly beat me.
There was actually a New York. There was actually a New York cop who said, why don't we, it costs so much to imprison people. Why don't we just give them the option? The criminals convicted, ask them, would they like to be flogged and go home? Or would they like to be, just give them a chance, allow them to choose. And he didn't even get that far.
Yeah, that's an option.
The book, I think it's...
When your parents say you can get a spanking or get grounded, and you're like, oh gosh, I want to watch TV, so I'll just take the spanking. And yeah.
Yes.
Well, man, I'm going to share this. I have a friend, and he as he became a Christian, he had a mentor who was much older than him. He's like 20, and his mentor was like in his late 50s. And he believed that beating, like a child being smacked, was important for their development. And so part of him being mentored by this guy is that this guy smacked him. I don't know the details, and I don't know if he's like, if he stands behind this. But he got paddled or whatever.
Well,
in a non-sexual way.
Well, the story I was going to tell, I won't use names, is I know this couple, and her boyfriend is in the military, and she was just out walking her dogs the other day, and some guy came out of his house and was yelling at her to get her dogs off the public sidewalk, and then proceeded to get pretty aggressive with her and tried to grab one of her dogs and was kind of like chasing her down the street a little bit. And her boyfriend heard about this, and he was like, tell me which house this was. Because he's just like, the reason people do this is because they're doing it to women that are a lot smaller than them. And he's like, I'll go over there. He wouldn't do it to me. And he needs his ass beat because then he'll stop. And he's like, the reason people do this is because they haven't had that public humiliation or beating or whatever. And that, I think also, even, that's why I left that comment of like, I think, and I know this is going to sound misogynistic and stuff, but I think women would be happy to submit if men had more upstanding men. Like a woman that had a guy who would stick up for her in that way and go beat up this other guy because he chased her down the street. They'd be like, oh yeah, I'll get behind that guy because I know he'll stick up for me. You know what I mean? And I know that guy will.
Yeah, and I think
take action. One thing, I don't know. I'm too opinionated these days.
Well, the thing about the love, honor, obey thing is really, there must be some, marriage must seem a good bargain for men, or they won't do it, right? They'll just go around, never committing to any woman if the rule is that, a man is entitled to a free test drive, so to speak, for every woman who might like him. So why would he ever commit?
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, it's to do with gender roles and everything.
All those hoes.
Hi, Sandy.
Yeah, Cindy, how are you
I
doing?
have heard from Sandy in the private chat. She's having tech problems and she's asking for help, but she is asking the wrong
Nice
person.
painting, Sandy.
She can't actually hear some of us. I don't know which ones she can hear. I'm going to call her on the
she's
phone
not reacting.
later. I think this is the right response.
What is the Jennifer Lawrence?
This is so funny. She's going to go into sign language. This is tree. This is beaver. See, these are the teeth. These are the teeth of of
is
the
that
beaver.
really?
Yes, that's beaver.
Wait.
Yeah. This is forest. So this is a tree.
Okay.
This is tree.
And this is beaver. Oh, because he's biting the tree.
Yeah,
okay.
He's biting the tree. There's the teeth, right? And then this is a forest. So forest is this because it's tree, right? All the trees make a forest.
She actually knows sign language, though.
So
yes, I don't know what she's saying.
She does. She does. Good gorilla. I've been thinking words I know. This is gorilla. This is the word for bored. Bored.
I like that one. I'm gonna start using that now. In secret.
Yeah. Bored. This is yeah. So good, bad. Bad is this. Because it's like if you eat something and it's gross and you go bad, right? I think I'm sorry, it's been a long time. And now we've become silly fun boys, and I'm sorry.
Yeah. Did you watch that with Pete Holmes? That was pretty good. Silly fun boy.
Oh, I have, yes.
Yeah.
I do like Pete Holmes.
So the idea of having I'm trying to get back on topic. The idea
No, I believe in what you're saying, by the way, because I've actually struggled with this because I know someone who is not religious who has committed adultery. And I'm like, I think that in the olden days, we would show up to his house, especially like I would gather the person's like the brother-in-laws or the brothers, and we would beat the crap out of this guy and we would tell him you're never allowed to do this. But he's not really in my community. He doesn't have a religious sense of anything. And there's no, like, what do we do?
Yeah.
How do we get this person to stop?
Yeah. I guess I'm wondering with, I don't know the right questions to ask, but with Claire's points, is it probably the higher up in government that you get, the stricter the laws should be? Would that be something that would be good? Or do you think they should be, I mean, I just don't know how to implicate that. I don't even know if I really know how to ask that question. Because I guess, like I said, what comes to my mind is...
Are you really...
Well, I'll just finish this real quick. What comes to my mind is like even just the Genesis passage of like, God says you do this one thing, eat of this fruit, and you'll die. And it's like the death penalty on this one sin. And I just often think like, what if that wasn't the case? What if God said, you do this one thing and you get a slap on the wrist? It's like there's a severity to every single sin that we don't realize, where it seems like there should be almost the strictest judgment for every minor sin. That something about that seems right to me, but I still don't know really how to live that in daily life, you know?
Jason, can I ask, I'm sorry if this is interrupting. Can I ask you a personal question?
Yeah.
Have you ever found, the image of like a person smacking themselves? Is that a compelling one to you?
What do you mean? Like as a meme?
Like as a thing that you've considered for yourself?
I'm smacking myself?
I'm assuming you're a dude who's struggled with lust.
Oh, like, what do you mean about him smacking himself? I don't think I understand that question. Like, have I hit myself because I've struggled with lust?
Yeah. Have you ever?
Yeah,
done that?
I used to punch I used to look at myself in the mirror and punch myself in the face. Yeah.
This is beautiful, Jason.
Yeah.
I don't feel there's enough people talking about this. I have too.
Yeah.
It's effective.
like literally, yeah. I've been so upset with myself that I've looked in the mirror and just like taken my fist and just over and over hit myself in the face. Yeah.
Okay.
That was not uncommon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jason, for being honest. Because I'm like, am I allowed to talk about this? Like that image in a movie that's supposed to show that someone's crazy, and they'll show him like struggling with something, and he'll like smack himself on the back with a belt, something like that. Like. And I'm just like, I'm not gonna lie. I think this is
that's
actually
self-flagellation.
Yeah. Self-flagellation is helpful and useful, right?
Yeah, I mean, I did it often, so I don't know that it ever like.
Well, and you're a good dude,
I didn't hit myself hard enough.
It's interesting to me because it's oftentimes a shorthand for this is a bad dude, and I actually
or people swearing at themselves.
Right, right. I actually think that might be positive.
Yeah, I'm kind of on your side too. I know it's like sometimes people push against shame, and they're like shame is a bad thing, but I kind of feel like it's a really good motivator in a lot of ways.
Okay, guys, Sandy has come back because Sandy wants to talk about sign language. I don't know. What do you what is your main purpose being here? Go, Sandy.
Is it working?
No. I should probably just leave and go for coffee.
No.
I spent the last 40 minutes fighting with StreamYard and YouTube, and no sound after giving up on trying to catch up from the beginning because of the topic that you were doing. But if you guys have moved on and you want to just...
Sandy, while we talk, could you be our sign language interpreter? And that's what you're just doing at the bottom?
No, I want to hear what you have to say. Say what you were, even if it was taking it back, I want to hear it. No, don't leave. Don't leave for coffee. Don't let me pressure you if you gotta go.
I have a 1 p.m. class that I have to attend. I was going to 11 a.m. coffee with a friend so that I wouldn't screw up my prep for the class or any of that stuff. But then David started talking to Claire about all the brilliant things that he pulled from his learnings from yesterday's funeral, sex life, secular Quranism, and how to wrangle the entire world into coming in line with either of their perspectives, which I think are both going to fail. Still want me to talk, Jason?
Wait,
no, that was good.
My project is going to fail? What's my project going to fail? Was it a really bad funeral?
No, I'll send you my notes later.
Okay, yeah. You have notes on
I like
on
this.
The funeral. Okay.
No, I have notes on religion. Oh my gosh, what do I have notes on?
I think she might have a couple. Sandy, are you Sandy, pause a moment. Are you okay? Are you all right?
I am at the moment. Give me a second.
I was gonna call you because I'm wondering if you're doing all right.
I'm scrolling down to the end of this more. I have 1,373 words of notes on something. All of which you guys just slammed into my morning with your conversation. Which was one of my... No, not you, Jason. It's not you.
You know what?
I just came on and said beat your wife and children. I'm okay.
You can go back to that.
I'm joking.
You know what? Okay. I'm sorry. I think what I'm most interested in.
Jason doesn't have children yet, does he?
Randy, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, Claire. Would you like to ask me a question?
Hi. Yeah. You want it to fail, don't you? You made a prediction that
I want what to fail.
You'd like it to fail.
No, you have to define it. I want what to fail.
Secular Quranism.
No, I simply made an observation that based on your earlier back and forth, you and David, that the points that you were both making in regards to each of your positions, I don't think, I think you're, what do you call it? Not presuppositions. We'll use presuppositions because I can't think of a better word at the moment. He was on about his father-in-law's funeral and the Amish, and you were talking about secular Quranism and some of the different ways in which, if people were made to actually follow the law, that this would solve all the problems of the world. And you can track what my thoughts were in the comments generally, but basically, I don't think you hit the sweet spot. I think you both missed the sweet spot, is what I'm saying.
Can you say why? I mean, I think Claire likes this because we like the back and, or she's told me she likes the back and forth.
Not to the point where you guys are at the conversation, because my sound blotted out for over 15 minutes.
Okay.
Right? So basically to where I was when I first started trying to jump into the conversation, which was when Paul, I started to comment on this when Paul jumped into the conversation. Yeah. It's that long ago. That's as caught up as I am.
Okay.
My friends, this is going to go on for 15 more minutes, and then I'm going to call Sandy on the phone. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave after 50. There's no reason why I can't have a conversation.
She's going to send you to voicemail
later, David, because I might still catch my coffee with my neighbor before 1 o'clock class.
Look, lady, I'm going to call you on the phone. If you don't pick it up, that's your decision. You don't have to answer. But I'm going to call you on the phone in 15 minutes. Go ahead.
So this is Claire. So this is my answer to your question. What you're just listening to now is why it will not work. Because this is how church goes when you have issues within church, which I loved you were making a point towards earlier. And I didn't catch all of what you were saying to why do I want to call you Jonathan this morning? I said
it's fine. It's fine. That's my middle name. Keep going.
I know. I called you Jonathan yesterday.
Stop reflecting and continue. Call me anything. Call me Ishmael.
Call you Beaver.
So David, we're at 11:45. I have a 1 p.m. class. I was going to comment, but I will do my initial plan and come back to listening to all of this later. And you guys can even have a second one if you want. I will comment then. But in 15 minutes, I'm going to have coffee with my neighbor who I was scheduled for coffee with at 11 a.m.
Okay. Sandy, make your point. Make your point now, or I'm going to mute you so that Mitch can make his point.
Please make a point, Mitch.
Better be good.
No, I just, I felt like I should probably come on here, and it felt like a lot of things were being said, decontextualized or not being brought home. And
I really wanted you to start speaking in Esperanto. That's all I wanted right now. Sorry,
not a good idea to, self-flagellate or, beat your wife, or, I mean, if this is your diet of spiritual wisdom, as this YouTube video or others like it, don't even hit your kids, in any way.
Well, okay.
Just don't.
Well, my question for you then, because that's what I mean.
No way. Mitch wants spoiled children. Continue, Jason.
In a very practical sense. Like I could see not doing that because I don't hit my wife. But at the same time, like going back to what I said, I'm grateful that God afflicted me times when I wasn't listening. Because it says that, I think in Proverbs as well. Like you can correct someone with words. Like you can correct someone with words or a child with words over and over and over. And then at some point you got to reach out and like jerk their hand away from the light socket or something, something really jarring. That's what I don't know necessarily what to do with. Because that's what I mean is like the rule or the law that you have way up here, even at this federal level, could be the most severe thing. And then you pull it into a practical sense. And it's like, there's no way I would do that. But then if you get rid of that up there, where does that leave me? If I say God would never chastise his children, it's like, that's so scary to me. Like we've talked about, it would be worse if God just left me to my own devices and forgot about me.
That's right. Principally, I agree. I just know that this is being broadcast, is being cast broadly. And there's just all these disconnected, disparate statements about violence
Look,
Yeah, yeah.
look,
Needs
Mitch, I
to
don't want
inject some
anyone.
wisdom somewhere.
Yeah.
Mitch, I don't want you to be beaten, but I'm glad
I
your
can take it,
grandfather
Mitch.
was.
I can take it, Mitch. If you want to say anything about secular Quranism,
I feel like as
Oh,
a
I don't know.
society,
Yeah,
we're
secular
building our virtues.
Quranism.
Sorry, go ahead.
I get what I was thinking earlier when I was listening to the conversation prior to the beatings was just that I doubt any worldview could be sustained without deference to a deity. I doubt any worldview could be sustained without a deference to an ultimate perspective and an ultimate authority that transcends that of our peers, our fellow human beings.
I feel, Mitch, that you.
so you don't
Don't
think anything needs to be done. Nothing needs to be changed. Everything's
I don't think
fine.
he's saying. I don't think he's saying that. No.
I
certainly
think,
not.
I think
I don't know
your
what
mode
he's
of
saying.
change is not
Always be
compelling.
repenting. I think sometimes
Okay,
about a
you
lot of
don't
people
want to
how
be
they
discussing
would, for example, in the
secular
Christian
Quranism.
context, would want to be using Christian principles or Christian morals as a guideline, but let's forget all of the God stuff or the sort of divine judgment. You could leave that stuff at the door, and I bet I'm just thinking that worked at like a certain level of intellectual capacity, but I don't think it can work all the way down. I mean, I think with belief in God that you're not going to be able to sustain the Christian worldview.
I don't know what you're saying, Mitch. I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Kind of
Can
cut
I
out a
ask,
little.
Claire, can I ask you a question in relation to what Mitch just shared? Do you have a faith in God? I haven't really, in all the times I've listened to you talking about secular Quranism, the major thing that I pick up is the fact that you're advocating for a secular approach from people to laws and how to apply them. But I really don't know if you can answer what Mitch just was pointing to, unless I know whether.
I didn't understand what he was saying, but I think you're asking me about. I do say I'm agnostic because I'm saying nobody alive knows whether the afterlife exists, but clearly people want to believe in it, and the existence of God cannot either be proven or disproven. And perhaps it benefits us to think that good will be rewarded and evil punished in this life and the next, because the Abrahamic God exists to do this. It would only be logical to believe that good will be rewarded and evil punished if God exists to do it.
Okay, so
Yes,
vet me.
Thank you, Brett.
Vet me on your on my understanding of what you just said. You said as far so you mentioned calling yourself agnostic, but then you also pointed at if the Abrahamic God exists. So you're allowing space for, if that exists, there may be some applicability to also what you're talking about, or only to what others are talking about in relation to that.
I'm afraid I don't understand that, but I'm saying I know people who have at different times expressed to me belief, disbelief, and doubt. And I guess most of the time people don't really know what they believe. At some times they do really believe in God, and other times they deny his existence. I'm talking about somebody I've known over the years. And I think they're genuine. When he said he believed, he did feel it, and when he denied it, he did feel he did feel it too. So most people don't really know, and I think yes,
I can possibly answer my earlier I can possibly speak to my earlier statement to that. I didn't really see what you were, John. Oh gosh, I'm going to still go. Sorry, you're Jonathan today. Wow. Okay. I have said it before in these spaces. I have post-abuse PTSD with anxiety, and every once in a while my words forget where they belong. Apparently this is that day, and David is going to be Jonathan. But I am going to try to answer. I am going to try to answer what I was saying about the conversation you both had earlier. If I can, because my words are going to try and vacate again.
Please do.
So, can you give me a small refresh of having a friend that's agnostic? You don't think that most people believe what they say they believe anyway? Was that somewhat correct?
No, I think most of the time they pretend.
Okay.
Because,
and so,
Christianity is the most powerful religious group. So to, claim a greater respectability, they might say they do believe in God, but they could be hypocrites. And maybe it's just a cultural affiliation, a status, status affiliation even. Middle class people go to church. People who live in trailer parks don't.
Oh, that's not always true.
It's
but
a
anyway,
class
it's
affiliation.
a kind of a, what do they call those things that present something? But actually, I mean, yeah. So the way I would frame it, and in answer to my earlier statement to you guys, I don't think, oh gosh, okay, sorry, but here we go. Jonathan, I don't think that the Amish are going to save the world, because they also represent what Claire just said. And you see that in a lot of things with people in post-Amish YouTubes and surviving my life, having left whatever. And here are the 5 billion things I'm dealing with because I choose to stay kind of videos, right? Which they shouldn't have if they're staying. But anyways, and I don't really think that what Claire is pointing at is going to solve. Hang on. Oh, I'm dry. Sorry. Only had coffee and too long since water. I don't think what Claire was proposing in her conversation with you this morning is going to solve it either. Because I don't think it's necessarily pointing at the correct problem. So the reason I'm challenging both of you is...
What do you think is the problem?
I'll have to come back.
What do you think is the problem?
Trying to point at the problem before we start working at the solution is part of the problem. So earlier in the comments, yes. I pointed at one of my favorite, something or others this year was the pastor from the church that my ex-husband and I attended to after our divorce and after a few other things that happened around church and life and all of the reasons for the divorce, waved me into his, sorry, I'm going to have more water. Waved me into his office one day for a conversation when I was there with my son volunteering at one of those food distribution things you get that isn't quite a localized food bank, but delivers things to people. So I went into his office to chat, and what he said was that he had been thinking about something that somebody else shared on my behalf, who had phoned and basically ripped him up one side and down the other about something. And he wanted to apologize to me for, he was apologizing on behalf of himself, but it was basically about a few official meetings within a church, a structural context that happened, making some decisions regarding myself and or regarding my husband. The part that he was apologizing for at that point was because we both volunteered in different aspects of church leadership through some of their Bible studies. And I apologize. And other things, but that something had come up that well, you could either say that had my husband's nose out of joint, or that had some of his personal issues triggered to the point of more anger than I saw on a usual Sunday morning.
Sandy, I love you.
Wait a minute.
No,
Jonathan,
you're wandering. You're wandering.
I know.
Right now.
Give me a second. I'm not wandering. It sounds like I'm wandering.
No, you've been.
So what
Sandy,
he said to me, Claire, was,
I'm sorry, Sandy. Sandy, I had to put you on mute because it wasn't a short wander, and I like you very much, and that's part of why I'm going to call you in a little bit. But you're not in a good headspace right now, okay? And I love you, I really do, and I'm going to call and talk to you one-on-one, and that'll be appropriate for that place, okay? I'm wanting to shut down the stream anyway. That's what my intention is at this point.
Well, thanks for doing it, you guys. It was good to listen to. Good to join.
Yeah.
Yes. Mi encaro pensas
Thank you for
que si tio estis bono conversacio. That is Esperanto for I still think this was a good conversation.
Esperanto, is it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, it was. Silly me, I didn't actually click on the live button, so I only got the end bit. I didn't know you had to click on the extra button.
I don't know how any of this stuff works.
Usually you just click on one button.
Yeah. Sandy was asking me to help
They
her
change
with
it
some
from
of the
time to
tech,
time
and
to confuse everyone.
Yep. Yeah, and they make the end stream and the leave stream button look the same so that you could just leave and not know that you didn't end it, or you could end it prematurely, which is something that Yoav did to me the other week on Bible study. Okay. I love y'all.
Yes,
this was a good conversation. Claire has accepted a role, so you will be seeing her
that's great.
in Macbeth. Maybe not streaming, but
I thought it was Hamlet.
Okay.
This will be great.
Thank you, David.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
See you guys later.